Welcome back to another episode of That's Game. I'm Nicholas Lenon, here with my co-host.
Grant Jackson,
And we got a special guest today.
the specialist of guests.
Our DB coach, Coach Shane Gaines.
Mr. Shane Gaines.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm taking this shit on.
That joint hot when you
Hot as I don't know what. When you inside.
Playing in the basketball gym.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming out today and talking to us. This game, That's Game. This is a podcast. We talk about sports. We get into a little bit of personal experience. What made you who you are. And we just want to hear about you and who you are. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and who are you?
Right. So, you guys know Shane Gaines. Obviously, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Grew up in Baltimore City. Moved around a bunch. Didn't have both my parents growing up. Just had my mom. Started playing football when I was 10. I played baseball before that, T-ball all the way up until slow pitch and all that stuff. Went to Owens Mills High School. Played for Pikesville Rec, Middle River, and then back to Pikesville. Obviously, you guys from the area. I wanted to mention that. I know y'all probably know some of those being living in that area. But went to Owens Mills High School, was a quarterback in high school. Then moved to DB my senior year, and then started getting recruited there. And then went to Shepherd out of high school on scholarship, and then transferred to Salisbury where I played 4 years. And then, pursued some stuff, all-star games and tryouts and all those other things. And, I think I gave it my all, so I wasn't pressed that nothing happened after that. But that's when I found my love for coaching. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but, one of my coaches who coached me mentioned the idea of being a coach to me. So, I took that opportunity. Excuse me, I've been doing it the last 6 years now. This is year 6, so that's pretty much the surface of who I am.
Yeah. So why coaching? Why do you? Not only was it your coach that suggested it, but why do you love it? Why is this a passion that you created for yourself?
Well, now it's a saying that in the coaching world they say those who can do coach.
Sure.
And I can't do it anymore. I probably could if I really tried as hard as I could, but I know that I don't need to. It's no need for me.
You definitely do. I'll be seeing you for sure.
Yeah, I try a little bit,
Coach,
but
don't get it twisted. Coach still got his twitch. He little show.
Just a little bit.
Some stuff out there in practice. So we be like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I do love it, and I think we talked about this in the summer, Grant. All the talks we done had, but I think it's not when y'all do well. I don't get a thrill of you guys doing a good job. I get a thrill when you guys make a mistake and you can fix it from what I taught you. Or when you do make a mistake and I don't even got to say anything. I give you the look and you be like, yeah, I know. My tech was bad or I had my eyes in the wrong place. And then the competition part of it, like pregame, I'm on the field. If y'all notice, I walk 10 yards, all of the whole field. And in my mind, it's a competition too. For that OC, for that wide receivers coach, and for the other DB coach, I got the better guys. We had a good game plan for what you guys got going on, quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, and just that competitive nature that comes from where we come from. And I say it all the time that where we come from, you can have a guy that may play receiver that says, "Hey, you can't guard me." Then the same thing, he'll be like, "But I can guard you." Yeah. So that small analogy is while I still do it, one for the competition, two to give people what I had growing up, because I didn't have my father. My mom didn't know anything about football. She just took me where I needed to go. And I had coaches that took over my life and kept me away from, the things that probably wouldn't have got me where I am today. And then lastly, I love winning. No matter what it takes. Those losses, I love winning more than I hate losing. So, that's kind of why I do it and why I love it.
So Coach, I'm from Baltimore as well. I feel like just from the conversations that me and you have had, you have a very interesting, story about your life, and you were very much so a Baltimore person. Straight up, you're a Baltimore dummy. So what about being from Baltimore shapes you and who you are as an individual?
Yeah, I think just having that, knowing one that you have a stigma, you can walk around and people look at you, knowing one your style, but also two. Our friendliness, our extrovertedness, but at the same time, we're still introverts in the sense when we go to a new place that
Sure.
You can see it on my face that, bro, I don't play like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you could talk to me, and say what's up and we friendly some of our coaches, we went to Morgan, they like, yo, I didn't think Baltimore would have been this friendly. I'm like, yeah, if you don't pose that threat, people treat you well. But just that having that edge of knowing that nothing is given to you in that city. Even the outskirts, like because of gentrification and stuff like that, like people try to move out and you take them out of the area, but you don't take the area out of them. So just knowing that, nothing is handed to you, and just seeing how, like, even the Baltimore Ravens fans, like how we love the Ravens, that's how the city loves you if you do well in it. So when I do well, I go to college, I get a degree, I get a master's degree, I'm coaching. There's, people screen recording us on ESPN and all that stuff. Like, the city loves you. But in the same token, when you're doing the opposite stuff, it's a lot of hate and it's a lot of those things. So just striving to get my people out of there and get my people in a better area, that kind of, being from Baltimore, that kind of shaped me to be, who I am.
No doubt, yeah. I mean, I can definitely say the same thing. Like, being from Baltimore, it gives you like a natural like chip on your shoulder that like I feel like I've even carried, with me throughout my life.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you.
I ain't from Baltimore. I don't got no chip on my shoulder. But I love having y'all around. Y'all do have like so much energy and so much, so much of an infectious spirit. And I love all the guys, from whether they're from, B-more, whether they're from, different parts of the DMV, like, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area.
Yep.
I just love, that we have so many people from that area on the team.
Right.
And how do you feel like, being from the area helps you in coaching? How do you feel like it helps you in recruiting?
I mean, guys there, like, if being from there, when you go back and recruit, all those guys want is a mentor. All those guys want is an avenue to show how it's supposed to be done. Because anybody can tell you what you're supposed to do, but when you show a guy a how, and you teach him how to fish and not just give him a fish, like, those guys love that. And anytime I recruit inner city Baltimore, or even the outskirts of Baltimore, the Baltimore County, the Howard County, Harford County, they have such a deep connection with their coach and the coaches they have. Half of the recruiting is like, hey, if you can give that guy that there, or your staff can give them that there, they'll commit to you with, quote unquote better offers where, you have like CAA schools and things like that we compete with that have more of the glitz and glamour. We'll beat a school out like that based off connection. And coming into the profession early, I was told you got to have your niche. Whether it's like you the guy that wear the fancy shoes, or you wear the, hats that people remember, or you got even like the type of cologne. Like, you remember somebody like, dang, that coat smell like my dad or something like that. So it's like, but you got to have something. Whether it's the way you dress, like, you're not a guy that's the shirt and tie guy. You just got a cool casual fit. And I'm like, I understand all those material things, but for me, it's going to be how I connect with the guys. So, like, I stay up to date with my music. I still play video games. I still do all those things. So, and being from the Baltimore area, like, a lot of the people are still youthful. Like, you got uncles and all that stuff. Like, people still kind of youthful. So me having that youth, but also knowing the threshold between coach and player that I should have to stay, professional, I think that has helped me in recruiting, that hanging out with y'all and understanding y'all on a professional level. Like, I can go back home and talking about some slime, get them. Like, I can talk to guys. I didn't know anything about that before y'all. So when I talk about that with the guys, or, some of the stuff Trey be on, like, y'all get me tuned into the stuff that I'm supposed to be. So when I go back recruiting,
Trey, man.
Yeah, and I go back recruiting, I'm like, all right, I know I can connect with the guys there, but then when I tell them I played for Pikesville, I played for Middle River, I went to Owens Mills, small 2A school. We weren't good. They were 0-53 before I got there, and then we didn't have a losing record. And they like, oh, coach, you got it out the mud. Then I went to a D2 school that everybody knows in the DMV, and then I played for a Maryland school, and everybody knows, even if you don't go D3, you know about Salisbury because of lacrosse,
for sure,
because of track and field, because of football. So to some of your question now, just the relatability that I have with the youth, whether it's white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, I think my relatability with the guys helps me when it comes to being from Baltimore and recruiting.
For sure. And usually being my position coach, you have so much relatability that I can attest to that.
Right.
You being one of my, coaches, you being my coach, my position coach.
Right.
You've been somebody that I've clicked with instantly and always had a bond with, just off of, us sharing each other what our background was and getting
right.
to break bread and just talk, have those longer conversations about where we're from, where we want to go, what are
right.
our goals and aspirations, and, meet together in common ground. And it's been such a positive relationship for me. Like, I tell all the time, like, I've had, coaches here, there, everywhere, but personally, you've been my favorite coach I've ever
Right.
had.
Appreciate that.
Not to get sappy or anything.
Yeah, no, I
but
appreciate
like,
that.
For real spill, me and my little brother, y'all don't know my little brother, Garrett Jackson, he's a freshman here. I'm a grad student, and he went through his recruiting process, and he came up to Merrimack this past year, and he's a freshman right now. And we were in the car the other day, and it's crazy. We were just talking, and he was like, yeah, like, I didn't really know what you meant by, like, when you said SG was cool. Like, I've had cool coaches, but, like, I didn't know what you meant. I was like, like, when I was trying to tell you he was cool, I'm like, bro, like, SG's the type of dude you can sit down and have a conversation with. Like, he'll play the game with you. Like, coach, like SG be in the PS5 chat party with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He'll come over to the crib and eat wings with us on Thursdays and stuff like that.
Facts.
We have a little tradition.
All facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's like so much more about how he's able to relate to us. Like you said, playing the same music we playing at Slime, get him the young, youthful, nature of our, music that we listen to in the locker room. He'll play that while we watching film, and he'll turn it down a little bit so we can lock in. But he's us, and he's like an older brother to me. He's like an older brother to Nick and so many of our other teammates, and that's why he's so relatable to us, and we love him. And
I appreciate
glad
that.
you're here for real.
Appreciate that.
Back to what Garrett was saying, he was like, yeah, coach came on the visit. He came to the council. He's like, oh yeah, you always, when you meet a coach, you sit up a little straighter. Whatever. Garrett said, yeah, I was sitting up. And coach walking in, I'm like, hey, Garrett Jackson, nice to meet you. He said, yeah. Man, he said, Coach Game's like something.
You already know. You already know.
I tried to tell you, like,
you already know.
The level of, like, your guard just dropped immediately when you talk to SG. And that's why, like, I love having a coach like you, and you really
I appreciate y'all,
unique in
man.
that way that I've never had a coach like that is just so relatable.
For sure. Appreciate that.
I mean, and also, you're very fun for sure, but you're also very wise. Like
Appreciate
I mentioned
that.
before, you got, a very interesting life. You got a lot of, experiences that, you tell us, like, you're not even my position coach, but I've learned a lot from, just, being around you and whatnot. And even, just before games, like, you always come up. You come
always.
up to everybody, but you always come up to me
Always,
before games.
always.
Like, hey, man, be you, man. Just be you today.
Facts.
Like, just do your thing.
Facts.
And yeah, I definitely appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, that's why you top 5 in the country with sacks.
For sure.
I'm taking
for
it.
real?
I'm
You top
taking
5
it.
right now?
I
I'm
might
taking
have
that.
dropped a little bit, but I was up
Well,
there.
give me 2 more next game.
Yeah, I'm taking that credit.
I got you.
If you
Coach
don't
White,
know,
I'm taking that
I
credit.
didn't even preface this, but Coach SG, Shane Gaines, SG, we call him SG.
Yeah.
SG is the DB coach at Merrimack College. I feel like I didn't give you a Shannon Sharp intro. I should have given you
Nah, it's
a
all right.
rundown.
It's all right.
I should have given him like really who you is. I wanted to,
But that, to
you
me,
let it hear from
that's like the
horse's
good way to
mouth,
do
what
it. So
I'm
like
saying?
people wondering like who is that the
Yeah,
whole
who is
time?
that
You
the
know what I
whole
mean?
time?
And then you
Like,
just
I don't know who you is sitting right there with the Merrimack logo on your
Right,
chest. This
right.
is the Merrimack position DB's coach, and he does so well in recruiting as well as getting DBs ready for each and every game.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
He knows so much more than just DB2, like Nick
Right.
said, and just being able to not only coach DBs, but to know what the D line is doing, know what the linebackers doing, know what the safeties are doing, know what everybody, what gap they're supposed to be in, know the run fits, know the pass stuff, and then also be able to say like, hey, like I can go over on the offense side of the ball and throw that thing too,
Yeah.
and coach the receivers.
You know
and
that's
running
one of
backs,
my
whatever
favorite
you
things
need
to do, throw the
So,
football.
we love that about you, but going into that, like what makes coaching at this level difficult?
Yeah, I mean, I've coached Division III, Division II, Division I now. Having to say, obviously, we still in the season, but I would say that at the end of the day, being successful in the profession and coaching, no matter what level, the passion part of it doesn't change. But that's based off the culture that the coaches create. But it's not even that you create within the team or within the practices or the games. It's a culture that you create in y'all for y'all to keep it going, because the good teams are the player-led teams. So at our level, when you look at North Dakota State, South Dakota, like I'm sure if you went in their locker room, it would be a whole vibe that the players kind of run that sense. And then the coaches, obviously, we organize things. We tell you where to be. We do all those things. But first and foremost, the passion about coaching is one of the things that, make this profession successful, if you have that. And then getting y'all to play with passion. And that's one thing that, even Nick Lenon just saying that, for me, just seeing Nick and seeing him practice and do all those things, I think the best message I had for him was be you. That's the best message I had for him, to go out there and play. But he's not my position. But I know being a senior, being a guy that people look up to, you had the dedicated number on defense. Like you were that guy. I mean, humbly speaking, I was that guy. It was a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure that we go to past 2 games and. Now Nick getting chipped by running backs, by tight ends. Like it's a lot. So the best thing to tell him was be you.
Man.
And that's part of the passion part. And even I think it was the first couple games for you, I'm like, have fun still. Like, don't think about the next level because you want it. But don't think about it. Just have fun and play. Like, I was the same way. Junior year, I wanted all the picks. I got 0. Or I got 1 or something like that. And then my last year, I ended up getting the most in the season because I wasn't thinking about it. I was having fun the senior year. So the passion part of it is something that's big in coaching. And also the knowledge too. But it's the want. Like, you don't learn from just being around it. You don't learn that way because it happens so fast. Like the D-line stuff, the linebacker stuff, whatever position you don't coach, it happens so fast that it can brush you by. But if you want to learn, you asking questions, and like some of the stuff in meetings where people like ask a question and the teammates laugh and all that, like you're going to be in that same world once you start your career that, now I want to be a defensive coordinator in the next 5 years now. I'm on year 2 of my 3-year plan or 5-year plan. And it's like, all right, I pause and say, hey, Coach Janetti, Coach White, y'all want to explain why you don't want to be running XYZ front or stunt versus this run game? And to them, like, that's a simple question. Like, obviously they know, but I don't. Yeah. I play DB. When they start talking about D-line when I was playing, I'm looking around, doing whatever. But now once I start coaching,
for real,
once I start coaching, I'm like, you don't want to be labeled as the African-American high-energy coach that only can coach DBs. Yeah. Now it's that recruiting aspect of it, to piggyback off that. Part of coaching to make it successful is being a great recruiter. And what does that mean? Not you, can you get the most guys? Can you get numbers? Because in this profession, give y'all a little diamond in the profession, you're going to have a coach on the staff, whether he knows it or is designated to him, that he's the numbers guy. He's just going to grab the guys to fill the 25 that we want to get. Not at this level because FCS is a little different, but on the lower levels, like you want to bring in 40 guys. Well, you need somebody to piggyback 18 kids. Yeah. And then the rest of y'all grab the 22 that we want. So, but part of it is having that eye and being okay with humility that you show me a guy and I'd be like, Coach Jackson, he's not good, bro. He's not a guy for us. Or Janetti would be like, I like him, but I don't love him. Yeah. So to me, I know, like, all right, I got to get another guy. And being okay with that. And just keep plugging away at those things, but being relatable, like you said, kind of piggybacking off your other question of, being from Baltimore helps me in recruiting. Just knowing that what you need, what you want, and then the type of guys that's going to fit the program socially. I know how y'all are socially. So bringing in somebody who is, for lack of a better term, maybe a square or kind of introverted in a sense, because like Nick kind of introverted, but I'm sure within a small knit group, a little bit more talkative and things like that. Yeah. But you don't want a guy that's like about himself or like he can't vibe with the guys or anything like that. So
get on his ass.
Yeah, so that's part of it. That's part of it. And then ultimately, the last thing I think that I enjoy about coaching or things that make coach successful is just being authentic. Yeah. And like y'all know, like at being in the room with me or you seeing from the outside eye, like just being yourself. Like kids, I say it all the time, and I've been saying this since year 1. Y'all players in this coaching game is like a dog. Like people say growing up, dogs can sense when you're scared. Yeah. Y'all can sense a coach that don't know what he talking about or not himself. Sure. Y'all can sense that, and y'all may. And the thing is, y'all may because y'all respectful people and y'all know the authority level. Like you're not gonna you may call a coach out depending on your relationship level, but you're not going to call a coach out or tell him he trash or do anything like that or question his coaching. But to your teammates, you're like, yo, what is coach talking about? Like, I don't understand. But, like, that authenticity and just y'all seeing that about a coach, like, that's part of the game where it's like, bro, you got to be yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I dress, like, y'all be laughing. Why you got your hoodie inside out? That's me. That's what I do. That's what I want to do. That's why. And the other things, like why I'm eating that or why I'm being this, why I'm doing this, like, candles in the meeting room, like that's me. That's just what I do, and I'm gonna always be me. And the first thing I did when I got here is build a trust with you guys. It wasn't talking about like how good I was or the things that I'd done. It took y'all to ask me, like, Coach, what was you even like as a player? Mm-hmm. And I told y'all. But those points of passion, recruiting, authenticity, and then the willingness to be knowledgeable are the things about coaching that I think make you successful in it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm going to talk about, first of all, that's a little sidebar. Yeah, why do you be having your shirt inside out, though? Like, I'm telling you, he come to practice and like he'll have the hoodie on. Like I'm like, yo, what is that? Yo, sweet. And I'm like thinking it's a nice new little hoodie or it's a nice little trend. It's a Nike shirt inside out. I'm thinking it's a different material or something. I'm like, yo, like
first like obviously we are Under Armour endorsed school as far as they provide us with certain things and all those things. So when I have some Nike, I try to turn it inside out. But I've been because of my career, honestly, and like going to a couple different schools, I usually got to turn stuff inside out. Yeah. So then when I wash it, it's inside out already. So I just take it out and I just wear it that way, and then like eventually it start looking like a brand or like some different type of.
It looked like it was on purpose. Like you was wearing it, you was out there with the swag on. You had the Frozone shades on. Yeah. You had the Frozone shades?
No, I don't.
Look, the Frozone shades are iconic.
Yeah, so bro, so many people call
me. You gotta pull up a clip, coach on the sideline with his Frozone shades coaching. Like he got.
I send you a clip that joint in. But no, it's just something I'm usually comfortable with, so I don't even change it. I don't change it.
I'm gonna pivot a little bit back. You talked about your 5-year plan. You said you're in year 2 of this. What does that 5-year to 10-year plan look like for you? Where do you see yourself in the next?
Yeah, so little quick 30-second backstory. When I started, so I coached in 2018. Well, I finished in 2018. 2019, I was at Ohio Dominican Division II school in Columbus, Ohio. Bro, I was there from June to September, the first week of September. They probably like first week of September. They had a game. So I had experience there where, speaking, it's funny, obviously election coming up and all those things, but I had a racial experience with the head coach where he was very disrespectful about, the racism, and I obviously won't say his name and all those things because that's just not my style. But, like, you know me. So if it take me to get to this point, like it got to the point where I went up to him in his office like a man. I shut the door and I sat down and I said, there's 2 ways we can handle this. Either we fight like men or I resign. So it took me, what he said took me to that point. So I left there literally mid-season. Luckily, Salisbury bye week. So my head coach, who's like a father figure to me, was like, you can come volunteer here. So I went there, no money. Luckily, I got my certification in strength and conditioning, my CCSM or whatever, CCSC. And I worked at the gym making $30 an hour. I was training kids and, training athletes and stuff like that for that. That's how I made my money. And I was sleeping on one of my guys' floor on their pull-out couch. So I did that from the whole 2019 season. 2020, I get the GA job at AIC, about an hour and a half away. What happened in 2020? COVID. So I didn't get to coach. You know what I mean? So I was just there. I was strength and conditioning coach. I was the sports performance coach and the DB's coach, all as a GA. Luckily, they gave me a house and meals tuition. So I was living there, and I was just pocketing my check. And then, it was a little far away from home. We didn't have a season. PSEC ball is better than NEC ball, whatever it is. What is that? NE10.
NE10.
Yeah, so NE10 ball. So my one of my mentors was like, yo, we got a GA job at Shippensburg. Blah, blah. I'm like, bro, I don't want to keep bouncing around, like whatever. And I follow his profession, the way the way he did it, and I love the way he did it. So I'm like, I'll take this risk and I'll take this chance with you. Finish my master's at Shippensburg. We end up having the best season that they've ever had at 10-1, and then lost in the conference championship. And I was the recruiting coordinator, DB's coach, and special teams coordinator, like co-special teams coordinator, all as a GA, making $400 every 2 weeks. And, that kind of helped me get to where I am now. And after that, I said, once I graduate, I said, that was the end of 2022, I believe, beginning of 2022. I said, I wrote on my vision board. I got a vision board in my room. I said, in 2024, I will coach Division I because I'm like, I think I can do it for one. And I think that, when it comes to recruiting, having all those resources and being on a scholarship level, I can do it. So I put that on my board. So the start of 2023 or 2022 when I graduated from Shippensburg, my master's, I got my first full-time job at Susquehanna. We had a pretty good year there. And then my 5-year plan was to be a group of 5 or P5 position coach. So that was my 5-year plan there. Not even staying true to my other 5-year plan of just 2024 being a position coach at D1 because I was kind of trying to accelerate my plans. Then I went to Susquehanna and, some things happened there. And then I went to Edinburgh. So I was bouncing around trying to figure out my career. But everything I did was going up. I got a first full-time job making almost $50K plus. Then I went to a D3, the first full time. Then I went to a D2. Then I was here. So my trajectory kind of went up. So my 5-year plan after I left Susquehanna, because I learned so much there, and I learned so much at Edinboro. It was like Susquehanna was the to-do, my foundation, as well as Salisbury was my foundation. Edinboro was like what not to do and what things I can get better at. And then I said once I got the job here, my 5-year plan is to be a defensive coordinator. And ironically enough, like obviously our head coach is our defensive coordinator. So, if that was ever to be a thing, I would hope, Coach White would be in that position first and foremost. But obviously on a personal, selfish level, obviously I would be doing my job well enough that I hope it would be me because, Coach White deserves to either be the DC or move up to, somewhere else. So if that was me, I would love to do that. But my 5-year plan in that sense, like I said, is to now, I think because I'm learning so much and I'm yearning to learn so much, that 5-year plan, year 2 now, is to be a FCS or D2, just be a coordinator at a scholarship level, pretty much. Is my 5-year plan.
And you gonna get there. We see your work ethic.
No doubt.
Every day,
Trying. Trying.
And the knowledge you have, like I said, not only at the DB position, but at the linebackers and the D line, and we know you know your ball, and you know your players too, and you're personable and you're respectful. You won't ever overstep. So it's coming. And it's probably coming sooner than you think.
Yeah, I know, and that's what everybody always say. Because I asked the question. I asked the coach. I said, "How do you know when you're ready?" He said, "You'll never know. You'll never know because there's so many things that happen. Because now you're the organizer. You answer all the questions. You got to make all the adjustments. And at the end of the day, you can lean on your coordinators or your assistant coaches, but at the end of the day, it's you. Yeah. Like, you got to make that third, 4th and 1 call that G had to make to go rock red and get that stop against Robert Morris. Nobody else had to make that call. He did. And I'm yearning for that, yo. I want that burning edge. I got that burning desire to look y'all in the face on the timeout and say, if I call rock red, y'all got this stuff? Yeah. And y'all say, Coach, trust us. And I say, hey, let's go rock red. And we start from 4th and 1 for -2. Yeah. So those are things that I can't wait for.
And that's a transition that even like Coach G had to make from being defensive coordinator last year to head coach this year, that he didn't even know he was in a whole different world. And he comes up to us all the time, and like you said, you alluded earlier to like, when coaches like acting a little different or scared, it was like, yo, we see Coach G like, he got the ball head. He was him a little more nervous than usual being a head coach. And we like, Coach, we got you. Like, we gonna hold it down. So. And I'm glad he's been able to just keep rocking with us and understand we got his back and we got your back too.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
So, an overarching thing that we've kind of been discussing throughout our previous episodes is, the media and how like the media can be, there's pros and cons to the media, but I tend to see the cons a lot, and that's my question to you is like how does it can be anything. It can be social media, it can be analysts, and whatnot. And like, what are the pros and the cons that you see, of that, and how that affects athletes, or even you as a coach, or even even going back to your years as an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, we can go so many ways into this, and it's funny that you asked that because I did so many projects on either the media and athletes or why athletes deserve to get paid, and lo and behold, obviously you guys have an opportunity to get NILs and do all those things on the qualified levels and people that can do it. But first and foremost, like a pro and a con is that a pro is that when it's the media out there, it's people doing their job. So, like, people actually doing their job. Because a lot of times people are like, yo, just do your job and, like, you'll be all right. Or, like, they want people to do their job rather than just assume.
Right.
So, obviously, that's a pro. But the con to that is people do their job too much. Like, you overstep people's boundaries to where you dig into somebody's life. If you got to dig for it on certain things that are negative, in somebody's personal life, that's a con. Like, if you got to dig for a negative, it probably shouldn't be out there. And that's the thing that somebody should have. Somebody should have the discretion to just keep to themselves if it's a decision. Because if you think about that, even those people that's analyzing those things, imagine if your dirty laundry was out there.
Exactly.
And they don't have to be that dirty. It could be, your relationship life. It could be, situation with your kids. It could be anything. Or, y'all young, we in college, we have experiences, and things gonna happen. That don't mean that it needs to be out to the media that you may have had a drinking violation on campus.
Right.
Like, it happens. It happens so much, but because of us being athletes and us being things that people look at like a figure, it's escalated. But you gotta also, when you have these talks with people and you recruit people and you a guy like y'all two who are top players on our team, like you got to understand that. Like I tell them all the time, your leash is different. And if you didn't want that, then you shouldn't have worked so hard to be a good player. And I kind of see it both ways from the media. Obviously, I'm personal because I'm a former athlete and a coach. That certain things don't need to be put out there. But I'm a firm believer of if you didn't want it to be done or seen, you shouldn't have did it. My head coach always tell me it's eyes everywhere. Yeah, regardless if you see them or not, somebody's seen you. Yeah, you sneaking out late at night at the dorms or the apartment. Like you may not see nobody, but somebody probably seen you. They might have just been peeking out the window just to see what's going on.
Right, for sure.
And then now they seen Nick creeping away or something like that. But another con too, also just staying on the topic of that is that you have those people that, for lack of a better term and the new social term, but do it for clicks. But the clicks get you paid. You know what I mean? Like you can have a great story. Like this could be a great podcast for anybody that's watching or anybody that's in the same field as y'all. But if we really wanted to turn it up, we could do different things that may not be politically correct or be socially correct, but it's gonna get you clicks. Right. And nowadays, all the podcasts and the TikToks and all that stuff is about getting clicks. People sitting in the car with 17 waters and going over a speed bump. Like that. What does that do for someone? Nothing. But it's funny to people, so they get clicks.
Right.
But for you guys as athletes now, and even us coaches, man, like the media kind of can portray an image, and if those just like politics, whatever's on the media outside of people that do their own research, that's what they're gonna believe. So if they see like you on the media, one time you on the media, or one program about you that says, oh hey, Nick Lenon was out drinking, doing this, that's all they're gonna think. They're not gonna think about maybe all the community service you may have done, all the things that you do for your family as a young man, or all the success that you have as a player, your hard work, all the extra time you spend after practice, before practice, extra meeting with Coach White. All they gonna know is, well, Nick Lenon was drinking and he got pulled over. He went 1 mile. Yeah. That's all they gonna know. So it's like
real shit though.
But the pros also obviously is the NIL opportunities, your name, image, and likeness being out there, and also if you can create a positive image like a Lamar Jackson or LeBron James, that they are heavy in the media, but they don't have negative media. Yeah. You know what I mean? Lamar Jackson's all positive media. You get a guy like, besides Russell Wilson's wife and her past life, like his personal life is all success. It's all, sure. It's guys like that, but you just got to live that clean life. And the pros, like again, the pros about the media is that you can create your narrative, but once you do that, you got to be a con of it. You got to be extra discreet about anything that you do as a normal human being.
No doubt.
That you may have done if you was just a regular guy working 9 to 5, that may not get broadcasted out there. But for us as coaches, I think the con is we can't just do our job and have the effects of football just be football, and the scrutiny. But again, it's all in the same token that you said you wanted to be one. So if you said you wanted to be one, you got to handle the negatives. Why y'all not running the ball? How come we playing so much cover 2? How come we not blitzing? Yeah. Like, you got to live with that. But at the same time, like, when you doing well or you have a success and, you a top team in the country, or you upset a team, like we go out there and hold Air Force to their lowest rushing yards in 6 years. Like, we get positive publicity.
For sure.
But, somebody see us now say, oh, y'all lost 6-0. What the heck was the offense doing? Well, you don't know what's going on in our program. We down to quarterback 3. We got some guys out. Our top offensive weapon is out. We already was trying to get we had some O-line things that we wanted to fix up. We got a couple like, y'all don't know what's going on in our program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, people may see that like, oh my God, Merrimack 3 consecutive wins. We put up 50 points, 40 points, something like that, and then they can't score 6 points, 7 points. Like that's negative bait because y'all just hyped us up in the media before,
exactly.
And then now you saying we stunned.
Put us down, right?
You know what I mean? We got the same team we had the week before.
Yep.
And so many people, it bothers me because so many people either you didn't watch the game,
right?
You just see the end score, you just see the L, and that's all people are looking for. And the positive stuff that we were just talking about, the squeaky clean images, like it almost doesn't do anything. Like nobody wants to see.
No, they don't.
I don't know what it is about the psychological part of the brain that doesn't, want us to see positive stuff on social media. But when you see something negative or something bad, you stop, look, and say, "Oh snap! Oh, what happened?" Or,
yeah, I mean the best way to explain that, just for a simple term, is like everybody wants to feel included and involved. So when you got something to say that's against the grain, say it. They want you to say it because people like controversy.
Yeah, they definitely do.
People like argumentative personalities at times. This new age or new generation of people, like they promote toxicity.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because they want to see Mike Thomas go up to a random guy like he did on social media and ask this random guy, should the Saints cut Derek Carr, and that random guy say yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people like that stuff. They got a bunch of clicks, millions and millions of views and likes. But, y'all post this out there of y'all young African-American men pursuing education, getting master's degrees, talking to your coach and doing all those things, and us going on here being authentic. Yeah. Like, how many guys, you ain't seeing two guys at Rutgers sit there and talk to their coach and have do all that stuff. Maybe too busy. I got stuff I got to do, but, this wouldn't be positive clickbait because it ain't. We ain't on here drinking or something. We ain't on here having fun talking about women on camp. We ain't doing that. We having authentic stuff. You know what I mean? So all the cons is like the cons about the media overall is that, like I said, people like controversy, people like confrontation. But the pros are with how things are going and so much opportunity for money and so much opportunity for just fame and stuff like that, notoriety. You can market yourself a little bit more than before. So, depending on what you want, the cons can be a pro and the pro can be a con.
For sure.
Hey, with that being said, like, do you think somebody that's like not qualified to do your job should be able to critique you? Like, say, like an analyst or somebody that's never played football or never coached a game.
Yeah.
They should be able to critique what you do as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, just simple as could be. Like, everybody had a right to their own opinion. So, should they be able to? Yeah. Is it effective? No, because, I'm sitting there and the guy may be like, parents, how come you're not playing my son? Well, you ain't see your son practice. You ain't see your son miss that read. You ain't see your son take the wrong step in the gap. You ain't see your son, we running a read and he in the C gap and he in nose. Like, no, you ain't see that. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, a soccer player, any random person can walk down the street and say, hey, I think, Lamar Jackson stinks. Like, why? Okay. If it means something to you. But it's all back to the same thing with media is that, like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
For sure.
And should you be able to speak about it? Yes. But should you be in those conversations where people are getting paid for it and analyzing and doing those things? No, you shouldn't.
That was my, like, more.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Question. Like,
you shouldn't because
analysts and people that, like, me and Nick always talk about, the overarching team. Mostly about, like, analysts such as, you got the Stephen A. Smiths. I like, negative clickbait, and he's a great analyst, great,
for sure,
great for TV and stuff like that. But people, of that nature that go on the air and say these outlandish things about athletes. I'm like, yo,
Skip Bayless,
Skip Bayless. You averaged a buck. You averaged 1.8 in high school.
Right.
You talking about what I'm supposed to be doing on the field?
The philosophical part, it's good because it creates motivation for the players. Like, it's cool. Like, go ahead, Stephen A. and all those guys talk about how Lamar Jackson got 2-4 playoff record. He can't win, or talk about Dak can't win the play. Like, talk about all that stuff because it motivate the guys. But, like, the physical part of it, if you talk about, like, the body of work of Dak, of Lamar Jackson, even an old school Dan Marino who was great but never won a Super Bowl, like, all those things, like, you obviously can, but when it comes to your validation of physical attributes of athletes, or like us, let's say we go talking about hairstylists. If I ain't never do nobody hair, I ain't talking about she can't do hair or he can't do hair. So they shouldn't be saying, oh, well, Lamar Jackson sucks at throwing a deep ball. Well, you show me that.
Yeah. What a deep ball look like?
Even
you give me a 7-step drop and let that.
Yeah, even coaching. Like, if I never coach D-line, I'm not gonna go tell Coach White, like, why you got Nick putting this hand up or this foot. I never got in the D-line stance and rushed anything. Yeah. Or I never fit an A gap and then never had to press an A gap, get my hat in the A gap and hold that A gap when I see the running back over there and I want to go so bad, but I can't. I've never done that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I always play with the D-line.
Yeah.
I'm the best. I tell Buddha and B-Rob all the time, I'm the best A-gap player they've ever seen.
We got to get you a corner A-gap blitz now.
Hey, I'm going to be right there.
To another upset, we get you a corner A-gap.
Get real skinny.
Love it. You
feel me?
Yeah, no, I really like the fact that you mentioned, though, that at the same time where it's like, there can be, negative parts to the media and whatnot, some of the things that may be said about you. At the end of the day, this is what you chose. This is the life you chose.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, to a certain extent, that, like, we've seen some things happen like as recently. Like I saw Ben Simmons and dude was like, not that this was a normal fan. He's not in the media, but he was just like, talking smack to him, and they was like about to crash out on the fan, like,
Yeah.
At a certain extent, like I get it, but like you do have to realize like it comes with it. So it's like you kind of just got to be able to manage it, and like it honestly it's better if you use it for motivation instead of like using it as something that's like it just totally like takes you out of your headspace and whatnot.
Yeah.
You end up doing something that you may regret, or say some things you may regret. Because I don't know what are the ramifications for Michael Thomas doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Our teams gonna want to mess with him. Like,
Right. It may be that way, and guys like, oh, he a head case man, like he into the media, he into that stuff and all those things. But you definitely it's a good point to definitely piggyback on and stuff. Is like if you said and that was a quote my head coach always said, but like I said, if you said you wanted to be one, just like if you have a kid, you work a job. Like you said you wanted to be one. Don't complain to people or talk about, any of this stuff. Like, Grant said, hey, coach, I want to try to play safety. I want to do this. Well, don't come to me complaining about what it takes to do it because you said you wanted to do it. Yeah. And like I said, I asked to continue to recruit Maryland and do all those things. When it's time to take that drive for recruiting, I can't be complaining about the drive because I said I wanted to do it. Yeah. So, that's kind of how I look at the media stuff and everybody like complaining about people saying this and that. But when it comes to validation, if it ain't putting money in your pocket or taking money out, don't worry about it. If it ain't making you play better or make you play worse, man, ain't no need to worry about it.
So when I get that A-gap blitz, if I get knocked on my ass and I say something, you gonna tell me like I can't.
You said you wanted to be one.
Said, okay.
You said you wanted to be one.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in that A-gap for real. Hey, Coach, as we come to a close, man, we appreciate you coming out, and we appreciate, you always, preparing us for the game, but not only doing that, but encouraging us to be better young men.
Yeah, for sure.
To do things like this, like you said, get our education, get our master's degree, and pursue things other than just football. And, your job is not only to be a good coach, but to be a mentor,
Right.
I remember one of the first things you said to us in one of the first meetings you had with us as a DB staff, you said, don't look at me of like a father figure or anything. He's like, if anything, I'm like an older cousin or a big brother to y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look at me like, and take what I say and really think about those things and not only ponder on them, but like, don't go out here just doing anything that I wouldn't do. Like
right.
You say, like what'd you say? Do it as I say, not as I do, or something like that.
Yeah.
What was the saying you said? You know what I'm talking about?
It was probably more on the discipline thing. It was like, let me try to remember that so I can say it the right way. But overall, like I just want those guys to make the right decisions, and they know right or wrong regardless. But there's things that they shouldn't be doing that they want to do. Can they make themselves not do it? And there's things that they don't want to do that they should be doing. Can they make themselves do it? Right. And if it's something that I'm doing, if I wouldn't make them do something that I wouldn't do. Yeah. Like I'm not going, or that I haven't done as a player. Right. And if I haven't done it as a player, I'm going to find out from somebody else who may have did it at a high level or have, I don't want to say scientific, but experience-based knowledge of it. And I'll tell them that. Like I'm not going to tell them that they should get 10 minutes of extra film or 5 minutes after practice and not know what it takes or what it puts on their body. So that's kind of the message I sent to them in the beginning, and hoping that lives with them forever when they become fathers, when they become uncles, when they become businessmen or people that's running something or being leaders.
For sure. Yeah, man. I can reiterate what Grant said. Like we really appreciate you for sure, and just giving your time today, to talk with us and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. That's it.
And that's game.
That's game.